So here we are. I'm going to explain how to create a Mediterranean food forest and gardening, and these concepts you can extrapolate to just building veggie gardens, building them in temperate zones or cold zones, depending on your conditions are. You will adapt the situations to the conditions, but I'm going to explain the principles with concrete examples in the Mediterranean, and so I wish you can also understand the principles and then extrapolate it and adapt it to your conditions. Okay, so let's start it. I'm going to start by preparing the space. Okay, so I'm going to just erase this and make like this. I think it's gonna be good. Okay, so orientation in the North Hemisphere, we need to think about sun. And if you are not very into the north, you will need to also prevent in the summer too much hours of evaporation. So we do have, imagine we do have a space 50 by 20, for example, and we want to plant, let's think about 1,000 square meters. Here in Europe we use meters. Probably to apply it, if you need to talk in yards or in inches, you talk. So first, in the North Hemisphere, we need to assure that the sunlight of the winter enters into the place. Okay, then also assure that the wind from the north in the winter and also the summer sun is at least protected or from the wind surely, and then in the summer we will design in a more advanced workshops where how to design for the summer sun. So that will be already planification. All the deciduous, so the plants that lost leaves in winter, maybe here, so you can have sun in the lower stratas, so the sun enter into the soil each winter, and more in this area you can have perennials like here in the Mediterranean we have carob, olives, loquats, and other plants that like to be, they have leaves all over the year, they create shade all over the year, and they cast shade in throughout the year. And also these ones you can propose them, so in profile, if this is north and this is south, you can promote the carob trees, bigger ones, the olive trees, lower ones, and even the loquat. So the wind goes, the wind also transfers, the sun hits everybody in everywhere in the winter. So you make a transition to the north. I guess, I hope you get the idea. So the north, the south, the east, the west, we have the place, and we can promote islands, places. So you can promote islands with a lot of plants if you feel and you like more circular areas or mandalas, whatever you feel like, you can do it, whatever your design tendencies are. For the sake of educational purposes, I'm gonna use lines, which is also, I use it very often in my designs. Then a design in a food forest in lines in 40 years, excuse me, in 40 years, sorry, it will disappear. The lines will disappear. The forest will be three-dimensional and globular. So it's good. I will start by lines, and I will tilt it, if you're in drylands, I will tilt it slightly to the west, north to south. So northeast to southwest. tilted 10 to 12, 15 degrees into the west because of the moist in the summer morning and the prevention of the shade casting in the afternoon, summer afternoon. Nothing more about that. And then these avenues, we're gonna select it. If you have you can plant it with machines, we can plant it with shovels, we can just put seeds in the space. If you arrive to a flat area where there is no plants and has been exposed to the sun all his time, the better is to make holes for the trees. So that will be trenches if we do have the machinery, or holes, big holes for the trees, then little holes for the shrubs, and then the veggies will be in this area more or less. So let us do it in profile. I'm gonna do it in a different way so you see it more clearly. So how to do I do trenches, but if you want to do holes, you can do holes. Firstly, if this is one lane of those ones that we see going down, imagine this is the lane, and in profile we're gonna see it like this. We're gonna make a trench 50 centimeters minimum of depth and 40 centimeters of width. Okay, then in the areas we're gonna put trees, we can put trees and shrubs, and then plants for the veggie garden. If you just want to put veggies, you can just put veggies, but I suggest you to bring some forest culture into your land so you can have this kind of activities. And also when you dig out, think about when you put the tree, think about when it rains, that the water flows into your sunken bed, slightly sunken beds. So you also harvest the rainwater into your place. If you are in dry land, I suggest you to do that. If you are in humid land, just invert it, and you have very, very agile places. Better to do a little raised bed so the roots doesn't rot. But I'm gonna stick into the dry land. So I promote trees and shrubs so put soil. Try to put the soil in the order that you took it out. Then mulch, and then the drip lines. I will put one drip line, not so near, but a little bit near to the tree, so the tree has to work out for the water. And then another drip line for the veggie gardens and some aromatics, especially veggie garden in this area. If you just want a veggie garden, you can promote veggie garden with 1 or 2 or 3 drippers, depending on how intense and how much production you want to do. In agroforestry, what I like is to bring the forest culture so I can produce food forest, starting by veggie gardening. Okay, and so the trenches will be in bird view will be trees, auxiliary, supportive, and fruiting trees, and then veggie garden that every year it will move a little bit into the outside because the trees will grow a little bit, and then when they reach the other line, it's time to start moving the veggie gardens elsewhere, or start giving one preference in one lane for veggies and just maintaining the trees not putting trees, or maintaining the trees as a mulch creator, as a mulch producer. Okay, so now we need to go into the cycle of the plants. So we're going to understand how and why the cycle is like this. So the annual plants tend to grow through autumn to springtime. Okay, so in the north hemisphere, in September already the plants have received a little bit of moist for the ambient, start to be more moist and more less evaporation rate, less evaporation, and more humidity. So the plants, the seeds start to feel it and start to sprout in somewhere. And when the first rain starts in September, October, blam, life appears. So just to understand that there is three phases, basic three phases. The vegetative phase where sprouts, grows, root, and develops. Reaching maturity, it becomes the sexual phase where they start to flowering, and all the minerals go into the seed production, flower and seed production. And then when the seeds are ready, the plant has put all this energy from normally the animal from the roots and the leaves, and they put into the seeds, and all the seeds go into the ground. So from ground to ground. Okay. In this process, they cover, they protect, they nourish the soil through photosynthesis, sending energy and sugars to the soil and interchanging with microbiome and the soil food web. A lot of minerals. So let's think we want all the soil protected through year 1 to year 100. How do we do that? We call it succession. So successional agroforestry, successional agriculture. So use success phases of plants that like to live, start living later or living longer. And you have to balance and to be the orchestra director of that pulsations of life, and adapting always with the climatic conditions of your place. Okay, so imagine, so yeah, we go for direct. So what we do is find the one plant that will succeed to the next one before this one is already in decaying and dying. We chop and drop and we put it on the ground so it recover, protect and nourish the soil life. And the next plant is already anchored and rooted, so it can start to develop his maximum photosynthesis production. And same with another one, and same with another one. So we promote protection and nourishment throughout the year with plants. That's called successional dynamic agrosystems. So imagine we start by flatland, completely degraded and completely eroded. There is no plants, nothing. You arrive in August and there is nothing there. It's typically in dryland. And it's very hard, it's hard as concrete, so you need to lose it. At least once in a lifetime, you need to lose it. If you want to produce veggies in drylands, either you create veggies gardens, you maintain the soil all the time loose and protected from the rain and the heart of the soil, the sun, or you maintain the veggies all the time with you, and they maintain the soil more or less loose for you and prepared. So we're gonna lose this place with hand tools or machines. We're gonna lose it 50 centimeters at least, and that perturbation already with the first rain in September, October, they will rise up new latent dormant seeds that were there. So that we call it the placenta. Are the plants that are more the ones that are eager to start producing photosynthesis in very hard conditions. They will grow very quickly and they will die very quickly, and they will do a lot of seeds in very little time. So placenta 1 and placenta 2, they will at least promote the first 4 to 6 to 8 months of the procession. And those plants, some of them you can eat it, some of them the soil is very open for welcoming that energy into your place. So what we can do is just loosen and put more seeds into that, so we can have more seeds into the scenario. And since we're gonna promote more trees and more shrubs into our food forest garden, we're gonna put also, if we have dripping lines, we can put cuttings of trees. More in November, we can put in November, but the seeds are already in place. We can put tree seedlings and plant seedlings if we need to push forward the veggie garden. And in the north face, for example, In the north face, on the north side of that lane, we can put also perennial plants, so plants that have, in this case, black, green, little leaves, perennial all the year around. So we can plant little seedlings and seeds of carob, olive, loquat, and so on. So quince, then we can graft into loquat and so on. Almonds, nuts, so sour almond nuts, so the rabbits don't eat it, and then we can graft it in year 3, year 5, and all kind of seeds. So all kind of seeds from your nuts trees and your fruit trees and your cuttings from the plants, from the aromatic, also the perennial aromatic like thyme or rosmarinus. You can put it here, and also you can put some of them here, and when they make so much shade into your place, we can cut and pruning and select pruning, so managing the shade and managing the sunlight inside. So we have the whole forest culture in one place and one time all the time. Also we can put seeds from citrus, so orange, lemon. This is a very more tricky, so we will take that in consideration in other moment. We can put the trees in later phases. This more exotic subtropical trees, we can put it in later phases. So there we're gonna start, and they will arise. The first one, placenta uno, will be rocket, radish, nape, garlic, lettuce, beetroot, that will start to grow. As I said, in this part, the seeds of the trees will be in the center area, and the seeds from the veggies will be more in the exterior. So you can have a plan for that, so you can manage better and harvest in a better way without touching the plants that will take more time to grow, and you will manage more annually, and every quarter you will manage more these areas. So that's for that, and then so everything starts to grow. So we have also the second phase of the placenta 2 will start the broccolis and the cauliflowers and the cabbage and so on, ¿vale? And so imagine we have already made the second, because in the winter we take the placenta 1 harvest and the placenta 2 harvest, and every time we harvest we chop and drop and put it on the ground, and we put more seeds under, or we put already seedlings of plant seedlings in place. So in springtime we have the same procession. We put also tomatoes all the summer. Tomatoes, squash, zucchini, potatoes, second phase of potatoes, pumpkins, melon, watermelon, okay, all those. And meanwhile, we are growing those in the summer. All the trees and all the shrubs like grapes and the trees that we put in on the ground, they are growing with the whole community. They are growing under the shade, little by little. They are growing. So we arrive to the second winter. Okay, this phase of veggies, so this phase of the veggies are already growing all the time. Winter and summer, and the trees little by little start growing. So here we have the veggies. And the trees and shrubs and aromatics and so on. So you can see more, or this is the circular short term, and this is the long term. But here in the profile, so that we can see both growing at the same time. Vale? So finally, after 3 cycles of winter and summer, you will start seeing that the trees and the shrubs are getting grower and bigger. So the carob is getting are growing better, and the rootstock and the seeds of some fruit trees have grown also some rootstock. I suggest to put seeds of every tree and fruit that you eat, and also rootstocks of hybrids, because of if you are very into the dryland, I suggest you to use also hybrids like 37, 6005 and so on, so you can graft and have different opportunities for different scenarios in the future. We don't know how hard it's going to be the summer. We don't know if it's going to be changing into humidity. A humid summer can kill everything, and a very dry winter can kill everything. So we are adaptive and putting information for every scenario possible. Okay, thus you need to start understanding and learning and studying and knowing by heart the plants that you're using. Talk with the neighbors, talk to the elders, so ask for that. It arises a moment that the trees are getting so vigorous that you will see the veggies, nearly all the veggie gardens are already gone from here, and you will need to start another agroforestry line to use for 2 or 3 more years of veggie garden. If you want just a veggie garden, don't put trees and use it this succession of I will put the list of plants that you will have it in this document, so you can start already playing with that, and then you will build your own book. As I say, I can tell you what I've been studying and observing, but then this applied to your place will be very, very specific to your edapoclimatic conditions, the needs of your family, and how you manage those systems. So finally, the trees are growing, they are grafted also, and you have apples from the queens that you have grafted to the apricots that you grafted on the sour almonds, and also you can have lemons and mandarins and oranges from the citrus that you grafted, and you have algarrobes and olive trees and loquats in the back side of the system. And also, if I may be even taking further to this systemic, you will have also some emergent trees that have their space. You can do it by putting Fraxinus angustifolia 3 seedlings here, or Populus nigra seedlings here, or seeds, or stackings, or cuttings, depending on how you can grow them. And at the end, they will have their space. You will prune it very into the emergent, so they don't get very dominant in the horizontal, but they go up into the sky. They will create shade in the summer, little shade, little phases of shade. And then, of course, every winter, boom, you will have a lot of leaves into the ground as a mulch. And then all the branches, you can prune it and put it into the soil. So you are producing water. Sorry, I forgot to tell you about the birds will be start to sleep in these places and bring some new seeds, local seeds from laurus, wild olives, and other ones, Pistacia lentiscus, Myrtus communis. So those seeds, even you put it here, even the birds will bring them. So the more complex the system, the more the more complex birds will be called to. They will also add value to your system. So those layers of, if you maintain it in the lower canopy, in the lower strata, by pruning and maintaining them, so you will finally create a shade casting, a living community that will feed birds, migrant birds, and they will have ecological corridors. And not only that, but also they will protect them from the soil, scalding soil in the summer. They will create shade for the ambient and more freshness of the soil, and also they will condense. Very important. They will be sorely dark green little leaf plants, perennial plants, that they will have the tendency of condensing the water from the ambient, from the air every night and some days, and also protecting that water from evaporation during the day. So this is a very important member of the community. Okay, the low layer. And nothing. At the end, you will have a food forest with which is resilient, which is adaptive to different scenarios. And if some trees die, you will have a backup in the root stock. Yeah, that's the way I understand, and I like to see agroforestry and syntropic approach. I hope you like it, and I add value to the way you perceive nature. This is an ongoing process. We never stop learning and observing, analyzing, evaluating, understanding, and relearning again. So welcome to the club. Thank you very much for your time. Bye for now.